Hey there, I'm Emma from Unique Phoenix, leadership coach, working with leaders, business owners, and entrepreneurs to help them create balance, alleviate stress, and become leaders in their own lives, not only in the work that they do. Rather than managing their lives, they will be able to lead them through EQ, mindset, connection, and communication. What an episode I've got for you today. I wanted to drop in and I just wanted to do a quick one and I wanted to come at you and let's get into it and talk about want versus need. We definitely need to define it. Majority of people do not know the difference between what their needs are, their particular needs are, and the things that they want in life. And this discrepancy, this distance between the two, is what creates a lot of problems in people's lives because what they want and what they need are two fucking hugely different things. And in business, if you don't know what you want personally, I can guarantee you are going to be duck, legs running underwater and trying to be all smooth as silk on the top, just quacking away like I got this shit, I know what's going on. But I guarantee you'll simply be managing your day, managing the people around you, managing problems. There's no leadership in that. And so we use that term really loosely. Leadership requires you to be above the water. It requires you to not only maintain a cool head, but to also understand when others are doing that, like paddling underwater and freaking out and helping them through it as well. But if you don't have your needs locked in, then you're absolutely not going to be able to assist anyone with their needs as well, work or otherwise. And that's the thing. Lines are blurred, aren't they now? Lines are really blurred between between work and, excuse me, I had a moment. Lines are really blurred between work and home life, like really blurred, because we have these relationships at work that spill over into our personal lives. We meet people through work, we become friends, they're not just colleagues anymore, they're people that we see on a weekend, that we have at bar, that we have at our house, that we go out to dinner with. Maybe our kids play together. All those things, the lines are blurred now. And we want them that way. Because you can't create great communities without that, having that blurred lines. You cannot create real, authentic communication without having those lines blurred. So, what if I asked you the question, what do you need? And here's what I get from clients. Every single client I work with will rattle me off a list of wants. Well, I want to be healthy and I want to have great relationships and I want to progress in my career. I want more time. I want more money. I want. And they're all wants. And when I say to them, but what sits underneath that? Like, what are your actual needs within that? Like, how do you fill those? How do you get to those? And then I'll get a list of steps that they're going to take. Or on the other side of it, I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm here with you. They have no idea how to get there. And absolutely. Did I begin that way? Fucking oath I did. Yes, I absolutely started that way. Yeah. I started having no idea how how to get to my needs or what they were. So as a leader in your own life, let's separate work out for a second. If you are able to feel your needs, know deeply what they are, have boundaries around them, not feel like you're having to fight for them, just really clearly be able to communicate well, then you're leading your own life. You're the master of your own life. And if you're in a leadership role at work and you haven't got this cracked, I guarantee you there are pockets of challenges that you face every single day because this code isn't cracked in your own life. And that's a harsh reality, yeah? That is a harsh reality. Boundaries are a big one, particularly between work and development. And I find that a lot with leaders is they're so externalized with how you're showing up, who you're looking after, that actually you're not included in your decision making process. Rarely are you fully considered within that. Again, it's not leading, it's managing. It's managing your day, it's managing the people, it's managing situations. We want to get beyond that. We want you to be the leader in a situation so that we're not micromanaging everything. Yeah? Because as a leader, you need to know what your needs are. When you've got your own needs locked and loaded, then the needs of your team and others becomes a really simple process for you to understand, for them to help you to develop, to create the space and time for you and them to develop. But the truth is that if you're not making time for your own development as a leader, you just become more and more entrenched in managing your time, managing your health, managing your money, managing your relationships. None of it will feel really connected to you. And in fact, some things will be kept at a distance. That's a whole nother episode we can get into. So let me give you some basics. Like if you're sitting there and you're listening to this and thinking, okay, how do I feel my need? What if I don't know the answer to that? If you don't know the answer to what are my needs? I'll get to mine. I absolutely know what they are. I'm really clear on them. And I did one yesterday, right? It's a no-brainer for me to feel that need in myself and in my life because I know what it brings. I know the grounding that it brings. I know the clarity that it brings. I know the confidence that it brings in my life. So let's start with the body. Body, mind, soul, right? And when we talk about soul, we'll get to that. That's, how I'm going to talk about that today is probably a little bit different than what you might imagine. It's not from a spiritual approach. I'm not going to go, out in the outer realms of the world and start talking about energy and astrology and manifesting. And I'm going to talk about it in a real way that you can actually take a step today with a deep understanding about what soul is in your life and what it looks like for you to be taking actual steps to fill the need, the requirements that you have. Let's start with body. Now, when I talk about nourishing your body, it absolutely is talking about the food that you're putting into it. Now, if on a consistent level there is food that you are not cooking and it's perhaps medium to low quality, and you'll know what that is, right? Cooking at home gives you the ability to know what you are putting into your body, right? Now, for me, I've taken that further. I'm actually trying to set up a visit to where my meat comes from, where I want to go and I want to go and meet them down where I live and actually understand, the process that it's going through, the grass-fed, what's happening to it, what's going into the meat that I'm putting into my body. I have an absolutely rock-solid relationship with my butcher to the point where I'll walk in and if they've got specials, even if I'm not even looking at that meat, they're like, hey, Anne, we're letting you know this is on special. Do you want to grab some of this now? And I'm like, oh, yes, actually, I will. Always looking after me. If there's a cut of meat when I walk in, they'll show me on a tray, hey, have you seen this? And I love that about them. They get to know me. I know them. And, we've created this beautiful relationship because that's part of my nourishment of body, knowing where my food's coming from, knowing what's in it. So I want to say to you that if majority of your eating is coming from buying it from somewhere else, you don't know what's going into it, you don't know the products, and unless you've gotten to know and have a relationship with those people. However, if it's franchised, I can guarantee all the relationship in the world, the products are still going to come from where the franchise, where that main umbrella of company is sending the food from. So small business, if you're going into a bakery and they're making your roll for you, you can have a conversation about the food that's going into it, the bread. You know what's happening there. Get to know your food, because that is a huge part of nourishing your body. Yeah, food prep is amazing. I highly recommend cooking for yourself, getting to know the flavors, the things that you like, the things that you don't like. Cooking is absolutely 100% a great way to nourish your body and have some awareness about the impact of what's going into it. Because how sometimes you'll have a reaction. You've got to understand when you're nourishing your body, if you have a reaction and bloating or whatever it is, I know in the past some food for me actually makes me feel like I'm experiencing anxiety. I'm not. What's happening is my body's reacted to the food that I've put into it. And so some food can depress your body. Now, for me, I'm a carnivore, so I have a really high protein diet. That's the main component of what I put into my body and how I nourish myself. If I eat a lot of vegetables, I will have a reaction, and I actually, because I'm cooking my food, I know what's going on. Yeah. I know what's happening, and I can tell, oh, I might have had that vegetable didn't work for me, because even though I was carnivore really strictly for quite a few months, there was foods that I was craving, and so I wanted to understand the difference between whether I was mentally craving them, whether it was just a habit, or whether I was physically craving them. And so over the past couple of years, I've been able to explore that more and more and more. And for me, a simple vegetable like broccoli actually creates a lot of inflammation in my body. My body does not like it. So get to know the food that nourishing your body is incredible way of gaining personal awareness. And it's a great way to lead yourself, to create boundaries, because once you start getting to know what you can and can't eat, you can actually say, be really clear in your nose. So for me, I don't have very little sugar in my diet, and my daughter is a baker. Now, it's really fucking hard to say no to her. However, every time she bakes something, I'll have one piece. That's, and that's the deal that we've got. So she knows that I'm there, I'm supporting her, I love what she's doing, but I'm also honoring what I eat and how I want to eat and what I put into my body and how I'm nourishing it. So it's a really good compromise from the both of us there, because she is only little, she's 10. So she took it personally at the beginning, tried to understand. However, she is just 10 and wants her mama to try her food. So we've created a compromise. So again, you've got to be leading yourself in how you nourish your body. Yeah. The better you get at cooking at home, the less canned, the less packet, the less, and the more raw ingredients that you can do, more, like just ingredients, not picking up a jar and putting it with stuff and thinking there's all my flavors. So much more to it than that. And it's actually not as hard as you think. Yeah. So give it a go. If there's lots of take, and I know as leaders, that's probably a lot what's happening. The hours that you work, business owners and entrepreneurs, quite often nourishing your body can take a back step. However, what it does for you, looking after your body, gives you more energy, gives you more cognitive ability, and actually reduces mental health challenges. And physically, you'll feel better as well. Yeah. Even to look at, as a yoga instructor used to say, if you look good, you feel good. And that's true. If you're looking good in your life, I can guarantee you're feeling really good as well. And if you're not, knowing what you're putting into your body, you'll be able to pinpoint it really easily and simply. So that's the body, right? Like having that nurtured approach about how you're nourishing your body, awareness of what you're putting in. The next one is mind. Now, this is a really simple one, but incredibly hard to practice, because it means you have to be taking notice all the time. You have to be present with yourself, honest with yourself, and acknowledge what's going on in that crazy mind of yours. So in terms of stepping into leadership, part of what your needs are, understanding them more deeply, knowing what's going on, having awareness about the thoughts that are going on in your head, I guarantee you'll start to be able to sift through like what someone else's want for you and someone else's need as opposed to your own. But you got to, get into the crazy little back areas, the crazy little attics in your mind and become aware about the thoughts because they could be leading you to places that you don't necessarily want to go. So the simple way to do that is in those actions where they're automatic for you. Yeah, like putting your feet on the floor in the morning. Just taking a moment to breathe and acknowledge what are the thoughts going on in your head. Now, one at the moment I'm going to share openly is when I wake up. And at the moment, I lost a bit of awareness around this. I woke up. The first thought that hit my head was, is that the alarm already? And I went, ooh, that's interesting. So I've already started like a complaint almost. Oh, the alarm's gone off. I don't want to start my day that way. So tomorrow morning, I'm committed to waking up and I'll catch that thought and then be able to go, hey, I'm awake. And I'm grateful for the bed that I'm sleeping in. What happens when you start to be able to become aware of what's going on in your mind, you start to be able to filter them. And then you start to see, are they coming up, because of situations around me? You become a lot more self-aware. And in a leadership role, it's really an amazing place because if you've got employees that are complaining to you or in challenges, quite often the thoughts that can be going on in your head are very distinctly different to what you're communicating, and there you'll find that there's a lack of integrity because people can pick up on that, right? No, they don't know what you're thinking, but if your words aren't matching like the thinking behind it, people pick up that. And they know that it's not truthful. They know that there's something. Well, we're smart. People are really intelligent. So if you want really, authentic relationships and connected relationships with your team, you have to know the thoughts that are going on in your head because at some stage you'll be able to start communicating those or going, whew, that was crazy. I'm not sure. That's got to go. I've got to change that. When I'm in conflict, these are the thoughts that go on in my head. I know I worked with one great leader, and unbeknownst to him, the thoughts that were going on in his head were basically like, oh, fuck's sake. But in his words, they were, okay, this again. All right. And so he got to a point, it was almost like it was combative because he was digging, okay, I'm digging in now. I'm ready for this conversation, bracing himself for the conflict. Understanding that thought was going on in his head, he could actually sit back and go, oh, hang on, no, I don't know what's going to come out in this conversation. So he could actually become aware of it and then change the thought that was going on. And it really altered how he really went from managing his team to leading his team and, to really deeply understanding them more. Just from that, taking that shift out, when they would come to him with a problem, he had a very different approach to it. And, there was a lot more open discussion. It became really easy for the team, because what he became more and more aware of is people were hesitating in telling him the whole story. So, that's where a lot of the frustration was coming from. And he was given some of the information, but because of his response to situations and because, action and words weren't necessarily matching up, therefore there wasn't that permission to share openly as well. So that is it's almost like a word vomit that I've just gone, but that's where your awareness of thought can get to. That's how powerful it can be. And as a leader, you need to be really self-aware if you're going to lead beyond anything you knew before. If you're going to actually impact the business in a way that allows it to grow and thrive. Again, in ways that you can't even imagine. And the last one is on soul. Now, there are lots of spiritual, talk about soul and what it is. And I'm not even going to talk about that. But really, this is sort of talking about heart. This is talking about when we get beyond our insecurities, when we feel really connected, and that's what I want to talk to you about, is feeling really connected to those people around you. Because if you're nurturing your body, right, nourishing it really well, if you've got some awareness of thought, then what comes up, the things that you really, really need, you're going to be able to start expressing them. Yeah. And so some basic needs that fill our soul and help us as humans feel connected is nourishing your body. Yeah. Is feeling connected to others, as in being involved in the world around you, showing up, in your life, having really great conversations, doing things that help you. The other one is water. Like when we talk about nourishing your body, it's actually intake of water. And I can't even stress that enough. I've got a huge bottle here, which, I really do need to get on board with. It's 2 litres that I'll drink every day, and magnificent. So please drink more water. I know I say it all the time when I start talking about this, but it's really, really important that you're drinking a lot of water. But soul is about feeling connected. And if you're doing the things like looking after your body, if you're doing things like getting aware of what's going on in the crazy mind of yours, then you're going to start feeling really connected to yourself. And then and it shows up in the relationships around you. If you are in a business that is built on relationships, and let's be honest, as humans, our whole life is built on relationships. Even if you're a monk in the mountains, you're still connected. You've got to be connected and have relationships with yourself and with those around you. So how are you connected to your team? Is it simply through the systems and the processes at work, or is there something more in there? Do you understand them? Do you know them? Because you can manage your team through that, but if you want to lead them, get to know them at a deeper level. Help them become aware of their own thoughts. Help them, encourage them to be nourishing their bodies. If you're in a business that has vending machines in them, remove them. Find an alternative that gives people an option that actually nourishes their body. Soul is about connection to self, connection to other. If you're in a service role, retail, if you are in, things like real estate, finance, regardless of whether those are, functional pieces of selling your property, money, all that kind of stuff, they're still based on relationships because people are involved. What's their relationship to money? What's their relationship to their home, to their next home? Because I guarantee you, when you get to know the people that you're working with and the people that you're serving more deeply, through soul, through feeling connected, wow, what a powerful leader you become in your, not only within the work that you do, but also in your own life as well. There's an integrity that you'll rise to that really, it's not about just showing up and ticking the boxes. You're living through doing what you say you want to do. And if you want healthy relationships, connection is the top of the list. And it's not just about having similarities, it's being able to connect with people through their differences at a really powerful level. And again, that's a whole nother podcast as well, which I can get into. But I'd love to hear about what your needs are. So in the comments below, you can connect with me. All the details are below about how you can connect with me, and the links are there. So send them through to me. What are your needs? Or are you writing out a list of wants? Because when there's a list of needs are separate to anyone else in your life. They actually don't require really other people apart from when it comes down to being connected. Yeah, and then we do, that's part of our relationships. But I would love to hear how you're starting the first 2. How you're nourishing your body, how you're filling the needs of what your body requires. Do you even know? Because I got to tell you, most of the population doesn't actually know. They just feeding themselves to feed themselves. And it's not based on what actually nourishes their body. When we talk about connection, people are in relationships, shaking hands, meeting with people, but they're actually not really connected because what's going on in their brain is disconnecting them from having a really true, meaningful connection with the people that you work with and with the people around you. Yeah. So, as a leader, what do you need? What do you need from your team? What does your team need from you? These are going to be basic principles that you work from every single day. So what are my needs? I need to nourish my body, which is drinking a lot of water, which is feeding it, food that actually nourishes it, that I'm energized from. I need to get a really good amount of sleep. I also need to exercise and move my body every single day. I need to get out in nature. I at least go on a hike once a month, and at least just get out for a walk in a park or something like that at least once a week. Every single day I run around a lake. So, it's half an hour of my day, 3 times a week I do that. And the other days when it comes to warmer weather, I can do yoga outside. But it's about my connection to nature, which helps me connect to myself. I need to have respectful relationships that are based on love. And that's not only how I treat myself, but it's how I treat others. So I'm always making sure that I'm treating myself with kindness and love and being good to me. And that means that I can look after the people around me and treat them with love and kindness and respect. And so they're really huge ones for me to nurture the relationships that are in my life, and in a way that both of us thrive within. Because, relationships, even if you're in a family, I have 3 children, I still have individual relationships with them that I have to nurture and spend time on. So spending time on my important relationships is, and that also includes business as well, spending time in and on my business, that's a need for me because I love the work that I do. I love bringing people, every single client, back to a place in their life where their needs are being met, where they're meeting their own needs, where they're thriving in work and in relationships and in feeling within their body. That's why I love working with leaders, because when we start at the top in a business, it trickles its way down magnificently. Yeah. So that's where we need to begin from. In business, leaders need to be supported, and they need to be supported by a coach that can guide them where it's transformative, and it's not only transformative in their work life but also their personal life as well. And that's what I do as a leadership coach. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you focused on your wants, or are you really rock solid with your needs? And I'd love to support you if you're in a want phase of your life and get to your needs and really thrive from them, really work from them and create amazing balance and amazing relationships, and you really transform what's happening at work as well. Create a culture that is just so forward and beyond anything you've known. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm excited about, to create really high value workplaces that everyone is valued and the business is getting the most value they can out of each person working there. Thanks for sharing your time and energy with me, and please remember to be yourself, because let's face it, being you, there's only one of you and we need you. You're incredibly important, and feel good for being it because you're the only person that can. Thanks for sharing your time and energy, as I said, and I'll see you next time on Connected Conversations. Bye for now. To connect with me, head to emmamuir.com. Enjoy your day, and thanks for sharing your time.